Hey guys, welcome back to the Practical Hot Rod channel. Today I'll hopefully be a fairly quick video. My reverse camera in the car has completely stopped working. Started having a problem with it a few months ago. It worked about half the time. Then it continued to degrade. It would work about 1 out of 10 times. And for the past couple of weeks, it just simply doesn't work at all. I'll show you what that looks like on the inside. I looked into having it replaced. The dealership wants about $600 to $700. Obviously, there's a lot of labor markup in that price. If I order the part directly, a specific Ford replacement through Rock Auto or a similar Ford specific part, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 just for the camera module. There are obviously not Ford, non-Ford specific components that are a direct replacement. So that's the route that I'm going to go. On Amazon, they range from $55 up to about $180 and change. So I went with one that was a Dorman. It's about $165, a little under $170. And it had pretty good reviews. So hopefully it's going to give me the equivalent capability of what the old camera used to have. So with that, we're going to take a look inside the vehicle and then we'll get started on the repair. We are inside the car. You can see the nice new steering wheel that I put in from the Focus RS. I really love the steering wheel. Much better grip, looks really good with the car. Okay, on to today's problem, the backup camera. So whenever I put it into reverse, you'll see really just a black screen. Yeah, I can select the head unit reverse lines, but that's not it. The default stock unit comes up with reverse lines that shift when you turn the wheel, but it's just simply not working anymore. The head unit itself, the video switcher, all that works just fine because my side turn signal camera, you can kind of see it there just barely underneath the side mirror. There's a little bump there, but as I put the right turn signal on, you can see the head unit goes immediately to that camera and no problems whatsoever. That one works 100% of the time. However, the reverse pretty much never works anymore. It'll be awesome if it does work. Nope, see, once again, doesn't work. So that's what we're gonna do. Simply replace that backup camera with the Dorman unit. Forgive how absolutely filthy my car is. It's what we call our monsoon season here in Tucson, and we just had a rain shower yesterday. I took the license plate off so I'd have easier access to this area. You can see that there's a little rectangular trim panel right there, and the camera module sits right in this. So theoretically, there's an easy way to just drop this camera module whole trim piece down and remove it directly from behind there. That's the easy button. That's what I'm hoping to show you guys. Even if I have to go about it the long way, hopefully I'll figure it out while I'm in there, and then I'll show it to you one more time afterwards as a separate little clip. So that's what we're looking to replace. What the camera actually looks like from Amazon. Bear with me for just 1 second. It's this. There's really not much to it. That's the 6-pin connector, and then just over that is that piece of tape is the actual same exact unit that's in there. So all I have to do is remove the old unit, plug this one in, make sure it's positioned correctly, and then we're done. To give you an idea of what's going to be required, I tried to simply remove the small panel, and that didn't work out. So we're going to have to remove this. To do that, we're going to separate this top layer, access the 2 bolts that attach through there, and then we'll end up dropping this outer panel. To really do that well, I need to remove the top trim and the side trim. That shouldn't really cause any issues with the little dash cam reverse camera. And then once we have that off, then it's just a few bolts on the backside to remove this trim piece right here. couple clips for the lights, and then the camera will be able to access. So it shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'll show you guys what it looks like after I remove the initial trim pieces. I've just removed the 3 initial pieces. That first piece, it took a pretty good pull to get this clip over here to release. It really held on pretty tight. The other 2 came off pretty easily. So now I'm gonna separate this handle, and I believe it's a couple of Torx to remove those 2 bolts, and then I can drop this last large piece. All I did here was I just pulled down on the lip, and it's just, you can see these 2 clips are really what hold it in place in these 2 areas. The rest of it just comes off pretty easily. I don't know how well you can see up in there, but there's a small Torx. This one's pretty rough right there. Small Torx in each of those 2 openings that we'll remove next. All right, turns out it is simply just a T20. And they're not in super tight, easily loosened just with the screwdriver, and you can see the whole handle starts to drop. And caught it. And there's the handle, free of plastic. All right, now I'm just gonna go around the outside with the trim removal tool, drop that down. I don't think there are any other screws holding it in, and we should have it off and access to that trim piece from the backside. So I just kind of started at the corner and gave it a little pull and get an idea of where the clips are. There's not really too much. There's one there, and then as we come across, I had to pull it over and down off of this, and then literally just give it a good pull, and the clips all break loose, and there it is. And now we've got pretty easy access into the area where the camera is. The camera module is going to sit right in this area right here. So we can get going here in just a second. Okay, yeah, so I lied. Camera's not there. The camera's right behind here. So you can see there's some bolts with the holes that you can use to get to them. There's 4 of those. And then this is the reverse light going into it. So there's going to be a clip on the back side there. And then you can see just above this bolt, there is a additional fitting that looks like it's just going to slide in. It might have the outside edges that squeeze together, and that'll release the panel. So I'm just going to find out what size that is and get a deep well socket and an extension so I can reach in there. This isn't very conducive to the recording, but I picked up this little guy off of Amazon a while back and decided to give it a shot. It is a bit noisy, but it does make for a quick removal. So there we go. I've already removed the first 3, and now that panel should be loose and I can access it from the other side. So let's see if that in fact does work. Yep, it's still a little tight. So it may be those extra 2 black clips. So we'll take a closer look at that, and then we should be able to get it off. I don't know how well this is going to show, but if you look up inside there past the past this clip, you can kind of see those extra little clips up there, and those are going to have to obviously come loose. It looks like it's just one of them is kind of a spring clip in the middle, and the other 2 are these little plastic type clips that we've been kind of talking about already. So I was able to use my long needle nose pliers to go in through the hole and kind of squeeze those black clips and kind of give them a push, and they totally just come right out. But that black spring clip that's right in the center area, that's behind the Ford logo on that piece, and I think that's the part that might give me just a little bit of a hassle to try and remove. But it should still just be a straight pull out from the other side. I just did this off camera, but I want to show it to you again. So those 4 screws are off. It's still kind of snug, and right here is that spring clip. But literally, all you got to do is give it a good pull. See if I can do this without dropping the camera. It came loose just a second. Yeah, there it goes. It sounds horrible, but it's just that spring clip right there releasing. And then this is completely loose now. There's the camera module right here that we have to get to. I think all we're gonna have to do is we can remove the screw right here, and then that'll give us access. Other things we can do, I've seen people do, are remove these studs and then remove this whole clip, but I'm not sure that we're gonna have to do that. So we will see what comes next. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this clip from here and see if we can totally detach this entire assembly. I may need to pull that reverse light off as well. Decided to just leave it attached to the car. It's really not that big of a deal. You do have to remove this one wire clip, just kind of push in on the tab and then pull it off of the camera. You can see the opening of the camera there. This one Phillips headed screw, all you have to do is unthread it. I've already got it loose. And then once that's done, this plastic piece is actually clipped at the top. There's a little notch. And then what you'll see is all you need to do is just remove it out. It's super easy. You can see those 2 clips, and right there is the notch that those 2 little things are going to attach to. I'm just going to set all this right here. And then you can just take the camera module right out of the car. It's a little bit awkward with one hand, but it just kind of slides right out. And you can see there's really not much to it, right? It looks just like that other one. There's the part number. Looks like it's part number. Clean that off so you can see it. Part number is Echo Juliet Echo Tango 19 Golf 490 AA, right? So don't know how well that shows up on the camera, but that's the specific Ford part. And now I'm going to secure these little pieces so I don't lose them. Okay, before I do this, I wanted to talk about that easy button option. So again, the plastic trim piece that the camera sits on is attached by these 2 connectors, and it does look like it pushes in on this. I'm getting my hand all in there. It looks like it pushes in on that side, and then this side you can see there's actual hooks. So it clearly needs to be pulled down from the passenger side with some kind of trim removal tool in there that grabs pretty hard, and then you'd be able to get those clips to release as you pulled it. And then since it hooks on this side, obviously you're not gonna be able to pull that down. So with it attached in the normal position, sorry, it's gonna go up this way, you would need to hook something in here and pull down pretty hard, I think, to get those 2 clips to release. And then it would swing down from this side. You could easily replace it, slide it back in, and then push it back into place. Obviously, now that I've got it out this way, I'm going to continue the route that I went, but that would free this up, and then you would still have to disconnect the wire, but you wouldn't have to do all the other trim panel removal and everything else. While I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and clean things up. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then we'll finish up. So I have to see how well I can do this with one hand. I went ahead and just to show you, here's that piece removed. You can see that the 2 clips on this side that go into those 2 openings. And it is pretty simple. They just, again, with the hooks on the other side in first, you can just very easily clip it in place, right? And I'll flip it the other way so you can see it, right? So there it is. I do not know how you're going to get those clips off from the backside when this is in place. I'd be hesitant to just pull, because that plastic trim, the blue part, isn't terribly thick, and I'd be concerned that I was going to break that piece of trim in the force required to pull this thing off. I pulled on it pretty hard and it didn't come off, and I'd be hesitant to pull a lot harder. If there was a way to get a tool up inside here and release the tab on the side of these two clips, like then maybe, but just grabbing it and pulling, I'd be worried I'd break the actual trim piece. So use caution if you're going to try and do the easy button route. For the camera, we're just going to take this little piece of tape off. And you can see it's an exact replacement from the previous one. Obviously it doesn't have the Ford part. This is the Dorman part number, but I do believe it's going to work just fine for what we need to accomplish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and reposition all this and get it installed, and then I'll put the clip back on the backside and show you that. The F-16s are flying overhead, so it's a little bit noisy, but there you can see the new camera. Perfect fit on that side. Again, all I did was kind of set it in place, wiggled it all the way down into the hole, and then I set the upper part of that clip, the two tabs around the little extension, slid it down, and I just started the screw by hand. Now I'm just going to tighten that up. I'll hook up the camera, and then I'm going to go confirm that it works before I bolt all this back up. Here it is, all buttoned up. I'll confess, I actually had to pull the camera back out. I could not get the wiring clip onto the camera with it in place. I don't know if that was just a difference in exactly how Dorman has it, but I couldn't quite get it on. So again, I just removed the silver screw, popped the plastic holder off, took the camera out, reinserted the wire in place, and then reset the camera into the hole, and then put the mounting tab back on, and it all went together very easy peasy. Right, you can see, let me rotate it this way, and you can see that the camera sits in there nicely. So I'm just gonna roughly set it like this, go start the car, and verify that the camera is working. Here we go, moment of truth. I didn't actually check it yet. So foot's on the brake, into reverse, and there's my camera. I think I'm gonna have to go back in. The reverse lines didn't automatically appear like I was expecting, and it's not turning. So I think there may be, oh, that was just the hood closing. And hey, look, there are my camera lines now. And you can see them adjusting a little bit as we go. So I think I'm in business. I'm gonna go hook all that back up and we'll be finished. Assembly is just the opposite of the removal. So I'll get all the holes lined up, kind of give it a good push once everything's in place. That center clip kind of grabs everything and that holds it. And now I'll go to the inside and reinstall those four, and it's a 10 millimeter nut that goes on to the various studs off of that. This is just showing you the back side of the main panel that's going to go here on the bottom. You can see those two holes are where the screws are going to go. And then all these, you just want to make sure that the metal clip is still attached to this panel and not stuck in one of the slots like that where the panel is actually going to go. So if any of the metal clips are stuck in there, just remove them carefully, shove them back on the plastic, and the panel should go on just fine. But that just gives you an idea of where those clips live, all around the outside of the top perimeter, kind of across the middle, and then two here at the bottom corner opposite where the two screws are going to hold the door handle in place. Got the lower panel in place. I'm gonna go ahead and put the grab handle back on, and then I'll do those last three trim pieces. The grab handle, it'll actually kind of only go on one way. If you're trying to line it up and it doesn't seem like it's fitting, just give it a quick spin and magically it lines up very nicely. Just give it a push to get the clips back in place. And then the grab handle is good to go. Okay, do the two side pieces and then the header across the top. Again, same as with the main lower panel, there's a metal clip, and then, oh look, that one's not there. This one goes on the left side, And the clip isn't in the door either. As I look on the other side, we can see that clip is there, and that's the clip that I'm missing. So let me check a little bit closer. That one's gonna go there. The header has 3. 1, 2. Oh, look, there's a clip right there. That's the one that I'm looking for. So just kind of be careful taking it out. If you can, you want to squeeze those inner 2 right there, and then remove the clip, and then we'll just push it back onto here. Okay, so that was a boo-boo. That's a copper clip. That one that I pulled out right in that area actually went, so there were 4 clips here as this goes up. So I would guess that this missing clip right here goes in that hole right there, and I don't have the clip for it. So may have lost that whenever I was putting up my dash camera and had to pull all this apart in the past. So, oops, it was good and sturdy before, so I'm just gonna run without it now. And one of the main reasons I'm not too worried about that clip is this centerpiece actually has these tabs on the end that are gonna grab into these openings. So this piece will help secure those 2 pieces once it's on. It's all put back together. Like I said, the 2 tabs on the backside hold the side trim pieces in place pretty good. And then you just gotta smack those 4 copper squeeze clips into their slots. And this is in there pretty secure, not worried about it coming back off. Now I'm gonna clean up all my tools, and we'll take a look with the tailgate closed again, and I'll do a short drive. Okay, just real quick, the tools that are needed, really just those 3 right there. Just a good Phillips screwdriver for that one screw that holds the camera, kind of that holding tab onto the camera area. A T20 Torx to remove those 2 screws behind the pull handle on the door panel itself. And then a 10 millimeter deep well socket on an extension to remove those 4 bolts that hold the trim panel to the actual tailgate. I did bring this in, my crazy awesome needle nose. I used that to remove that one metal clip that was stuck. Again, just grabbing the 2 innermost tabs, and that came free. I had these just in case I needed it for those 2 long black pieces that I thought were like a squeeze kind of release clip, but totally unneeded. This trim panel tool I didn't use. It's a pretty flimsy one. Actually got it with my dash cam. I've used it a handful of times, but for the clips that I was doing, I just pulled everything by hand. So this little guy is going to go in the trash now. All right, all put together. You can see the camera right there looking good. And I just wanted to point out, so you guys may have noticed this little porta-john in the background. I'm having a really awesome workshop built, and the guys have been doing a great job. Poured the slab a couple weeks ago. Last weekend they came and framed the entire shop in about 4 hours. It was awesome. There were 10 guys working on this thing, and the general contractor said it was like an ant farm. That was his words for it. So ultimately, this is going to be the site for all future projects, whether it's automotive, woodworking, whatever. All that'll be happening in there. So hopefully this will continue. They just hung that back door today. They should be coming to start running the electrical and some other stuff tomorrow. So making good progress there. And I've talked about it a couple of times in other videos. Again, the garage is a complete wreck because I'm just moving stuff around right now. But the Impractical hot rod is this guy. It's a Factory 5 Mark 3.1 technically kit that I originally purchased back in 2005 that I'm pulling apart to do it right this time, if you will. Brand new engine up front, a 306, had it built locally from Chuck Hawk Automotive. So any Tucson folks, he's your guy. He's going to come out and help me get this tuned hopefully sometime this week, and then finish up some wiring at the dash, get the body on, and start driving this thing. So that's kind of the impractical hot rod to go with the practical one that hopefully this is going to become in the near future. Anyway, thanks you guys for joining me for this. Total time, had I not been filming, would have probably taken me about 15, no more than 20 minutes. If you're pretty confident popping those interior trim panels off, you could probably get it done in 10 to 12. But I was just trying to take my time and not break anything in the process. So there you have it. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.